Hello everyone, your friendly neighbourhood idiot with the fork microphone is back. So I've had this camera for nearly 2 years now, and I can still hold on my first claims that it is the poor man's Arri, because to be honest with you, I see no end in sight of me updating this camera anytime soon. The Pixis is tempting, but I kind of like to get that as like an add-on, an additional thing to my arsenal of camera and lighting equipment. Okay, so the rig and what's in front of me, obviously it's better to start out the video just talking about it. So we'll go bottom to top and then to the front. We've got a Camtree shoulder plate. I bought this originally for my Ursa Mini, but I sold the Ursa, so I was like, what am I going to do with this? And then conveniently, it actually does fit onto this with kind of like how I've rigged it. From there, we've then got the small rig cage for the BS1H, and then I've attached 3 normal cheese plates. We'll talk about the red one in a second. 3 normal cheese plates. The bottom one just adds as a base so you can fit more to it and like secure the camera properly. We've then got one at the back which attaches to the Nitsi V-mount V-lock plate. I've then got a Bebob V98 micro battery. I've got 4 of those, and then like more batteries as well. On the side, we've got a cheese plate which is actually made for an Arri Alexa Mini, but I realised by judging the sizes that it'll fit on this camera too if I just add a couple of washers. That raised it slightly, and then now it sits on there and just gives my AC some extra mounting points, which is always nice to have. I've got a small rig wooden handle, love it, it's great, I've had it for years, hasn't let me down, which is amazing. We've then got a DTAP splitter so I can have extra DTAP ports which come from the V-lock battery. So for instance, this monitor setup here, it runs all of the power to that. Okay, cool, done that. Right, then we've got a NATO rail on top of the top cheese plate, which goes to a NATO rail handle. On top of that, we've got an O-ring, I'm pretty sure it's called that, but that just means that I can clamp on my con clip, which is on my Easy Rig, nice and easy on top. We've then got the Nitsi NATO rail adapter holder thing, which goes to my Ninja 5 in its snap rig cage. I spend a lot of time on eBay, don't I? Yes. Okay, on the back of my Ninja V, we've got a Andy Cine SSD unit. So that means that I can just take an SSD without an enclosure on and just slide it straight in. And then we've got an MPF2 DTAP adapter here, but that's a 2-way. So it both powers the monitor and it powers my Vaxis Atom 500 wireless, which goes out of the HDMI on the Ninja 5 when I'm doing kind of like commercials where there's no focus pulling involved. If there is focus pulling involved, then I'll come out of the back here, out of the SDI, so there's little to no latency. It makes everybody's life easier. But yeah, the Atom 500 I love. It means I can, if I'm directing, I can run off with my iPad and sit somewhere and like kind of just watch it all there and not have to worry about kind of like getting in the way and looking at the monitor and doing all that fun stuff. Because it's a bit annoying for most people, so, and I completely understand that because sometimes I'm in that situation. On the front of the camera now, we have got the Voltrox EF to L mount Pro adapter. So that means that it features a locking EF adapter, which is perfect because with the other ones, like with one that's not got a lock on, there's a lot of play. So it's good to have the lock there just to secure it properly. Then we've got my Cine housed Nikkors or Nikkor AI. This is the 35mm. We've got the 50 and 24 just there. And love these lenses. Quality's amazing. They look beautiful. I can make videos for days about them. Just look incredible. On top of that, we've got my Tilta Mirage matte box. It has got a V&D and glimmer glass in. So obviously the V&D helps with exposure. Glimmer glass just makes everything look a bit kind of like more beautiful. Glimmer glass is different to Pro Mist because it doesn't add the contrast that Pro Mist does. When you look at Pro Mist, you can see like little black specks, and when they kind of like dissolve per se as the lens looks through them, the shadows can go a bit darker, which is fine. Like that's obviously a look and it looks lovely, but glimmer glass just helps to bloom the highlights and everything without taking away the contrast. And then I've got a dandy little green bungee cord because I didn't want to pay 25 quid for a matte box clip-on thing. So that is my BS1H rig. It works beautifully for me, could work beautifully for you. Obviously, keep everything personal to yourself because you need to work out what works for you. This is what works for me, and I found it to just, yeah, it just works. I can't complain about it. It's beautiful. Obviously, it looks amazing too. It looks cool walking around with it. You're like, yeah, look at me in my BS1H. Or Larry. Look at me and Larry. Okay, so now we've spoken about what's on the camera. I am going to just talk about some use cases where it's just outshone anything and I've been really happy with it. So yeah, parallels. We did a lot of kind of like, it was a very mixed bag of different scene scenarios. So a lot was interior or exterior. I do a lot of shooting against windows because I really love to backlight. So for instance, like one of the opening shots where we reveal Chloe's character, you see her in front of a window and she's backlit. You can see out of the window, you can see the trees, and there's a bit more environment that you can really like use. And a lot of the time, like when they do stuff like that, so for instance on Sex Education, they've actually just built the room in a soundstage.
Oh, you got a camera in there, you sneaky man.
Put all the stuff that you'd like see out the window outside, and it's blurry, but then they can manually expose that, so they don't have to say use NDs or anything to try and bring down that exterior exposure. Another shot we were using the BS1H on was Not Bad, and we were shooting both in anamorphic and spherical. Now the reason for that is so we had kind of like a dreamy, he's kind of like thinking about the past and like this relationship in the past, but also we're in his present, and so for when we're in the present moment, we're on spherical lenses, so it feels a bit more real, you're a bit more tied into it all. And then when we're kind of like recollecting thoughts, we're in that anamorphic look, just because it feels a bit more dreamy, makes everything feel a bit more romantic, so that's quite nice. And obviously everybody would wish that their romances were a montage filmed on anamorphic lenses, so can't complain there. But yeah, so obviously you've then got an anamorphic mode built into the camera, which is excellent. So you can shoot S35 in anamorphic, or you could go all the way if you've got full frame anamorphics, so like the Remuses or Atlas Mercuries and those sorts of things, the ones that can go onto a full frame sensor, then you can shoot in open gate 3x2, which is perfect. The Remuses are on the way, so expect a video of that soon, and I should have somebody to feature in it, which is good. Now the last film that I like to talk about is Blair Dead, and that is it's basically based on the foundings of Bath itself, and kind of like way back when. We were using the Revenant as kind of like our references of kind of like how it's going to look and style and feel. So obviously a huge part came in with these cine-housed Nikkor lenses. They're beautiful, they look more like Lomo Super Speeds, and I just love them. They are amazing lenses, they go all the way, they look incredible for like creating an on-screen feeling. Obviously I put up some stills, but the bokeh's gorgeous. You feel so, I don't know, it feels gritty, but it feels real, and it's kind of like one of those looks that I always strive for and absolutely love and adore. And we were shooting in moments where it was the sun was rising, sun was setting, we're in night, obviously having to light stuff up and all that sort of thing off of generators and all that kind of fun jazz. We were at one point we were in this old Saxon encampment basically with these thatched roofs and all that sort of stuff off our up stills, but it just looks gorgeous and heavenly, and the camera and the lenses did an incredible job and just look amazing. But yeah, it's gorgeous, works well, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and giving your time to watch this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it and found it entertaining. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and thank you very much. Bye.